Hello, Taverners. Welcome back to the Matchday Tavern. My name is Kiwi, live for Germany. Die Mannschaft against the Elephants of Ivory Coast. Should be a really, really good game, this one, after we've just seen Sweden dismantled. That's enough IKEA jokes now, I think, isn't it? We've done flattened, we've done dismantled. I don't think we're going to do many more IKEA jokes. Netherlands beating Sweden 5-1 after Sweden themselves won 5-1 in their opening game against Tunisia. Ivory Coast won their opening game against Ecuador, and that was a really, really good game, even though it was only 1-0 and it was a late winner for the Ivory Coast. It was a fascinating game, really interesting to see Jan Diamand. All the noise, all the rumours today, by the way, about Jan Diamand, that it's looking like he is going to move to Liverpool. Liverpool very confident of getting a deal done. But obviously there's an awful lot of money at stake. And you know, we're talking about 100 and something million pounds worth of talent, aren't we? Sorry, I've just realised I need to put the old light on behind me. We need to put a different light on. What light should we have on for this one? Should we go green? Green for Ivory Coast? Red? Let's go green. Bugger it. We'll go green for today. Feeling green. I'm feeling envious. How are we all doing anyway in the chat? Lovely to see everyone. Before we get stuck in, let's give a big, big shout out to our friends, as always, Oxford Natural. Sponsors of the channel, Oxford Natural and their wonderful Optimum Day and Night supplements, as well as their other supplements, their wonderful supplements they have. Elixir, Digest. You can go and find out all more about Oxford Natural and their great supplements and the great results that people are getting by using their Optimum Day and Night supplements in particular. Robbie from AFTV, you can see right there, getting some fantastic results. Michael Owen as well. KG. Lots of people in the football content space that you may know and love have had some really, really fantastic results, have been able to shed some poundage and get that summer bod, which I'm working my way towards. I'm really trying to, and Oxford Natural will hopefully play a big part in that. I'm not going to sit here and say to you I've been using it for ages, because I haven't. That would be a lie, and I don't tell lies. But it's something I am working on. I've been trying to make some more positive health choices. I am trying to get fitter, healthier, sharper, and some of that is something that, it's not an overnight fix, and it's not something that you can just, here you go, here's a magic pill. It doesn't work like that. You've got to work hard at it, but you do need to have the right things in your body. You do need to have the right nutrients, the right supplements, and Optimum Day and Night is about helping you with that. It's about helping you make sure you're not snacking, you're not got, your cravings aren't there throughout the day, you've got enough energy, and also that you're resting and recovering and relaxing properly when you're winding down for night. So Optimum Day, Optimum Night, go and check them out. You can go and get yourself 70% off your first order if you do want to go and have a look at it. If you're thinking of kickstarting your health journey like me, please do go and have a look. The link is in the description. The QR code is on screen throughout, and a big, big thank you as always. Go and check them out. And with that said, we can get stuck into today's game. Or tonight's game, rather. German lineup is in. Manuel Neuer, Kimmich, Tah, Schlotterbeck and Braun at the back. Nemetja, Pavlovic, Sané, Musiala, Wirtz, Havertz is the starting 11 for Die Mannschaft. For the Ivory Coast, it's Yaya, Fofana, Wilfried Singo, Kosanu, Agbadu and Ghislaine Konan at the back. In midfield, they've gone with Kessie and Sangare sitting in front of that defence. They're going to play a really big part with Christian Ulai as well. And then it's a front three of Jan Diamand, Amad Diallo and Inter centre forward Anjoan Bonny. Okay, we're all on board, I think. How are we all doing, everyone? Anyway, let's say hello to people in the chat. Aftab, Great to see you. I don't even know. How are you feeling, mate? How are you feeling? You said you was going to go and maybe sort yourself out if you hadn't felt better after 6:30. I was going to say, how are you feeling? Jellyfish, good to see you, man. Aftab, I'm physically tired. I'd love to watch this. I'm going to be back for the Spain-Saudi game. No worries, mate. Yeah, take it easy. You look after yourself, mate. That's priority number 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're no good to us. You're no good to us if you're falling apart. We need you feeling alive and, pumped up, ready for the game. So you go and make sure yourself is you're well rested. Sarah, how's it going? Who else have we got in? 3-star, lovely to see you. I'm going to call it a day after this game and pop back in later for the 5 a.m. game if Key decides to do that one. No, I'm definitely not doing either. I'm not doing either of the next 2 World Cup games. I'm not doing the 1 a.m. Ecuador, Curaçao, and I'm certainly not doing Tunisia, Japan at 5 a.m. I think that one would definitely see me off. So I'm not going to bother with either of those 2. I'm going to be back tomorrow for the 2 Spain versus Saudi Arabia game plus Belgium versus Iran. I'll be back for both of those. I love City of Northville's Oxford Natural quotes. Hiller says, big German win tonight. Ivory Coast haven't got a midfield. They haven't got a midfield, but they've got a very, very tidy attack. I think Bonnie, Diamand, Diallo can cause Germany some problems. Listen, Curaçao scored against Germany. If Curaçao can bag one, I'm sure the Ivory Coast front line can. City of Northville, I can't miss Japan. That's my dark horse. 5 a.m. though. 5 a.m. I can't do 5 a.m. I might be awake for it, but I can't do it. I just can't. I'd be all over the place. So I'm going to give that one a miss. Jan Diamand scouting today. It's a Jan Diamand scouting mission, this one. Is he worth the money? Is he worth 100 million plus? According to Ben Jacobs today, by the way, Liverpool have said to the Ivory Coast International that they are prepared to meet his demands, his personal demands. And they've also let Leipzig know that they are quite happy to pay 100 million plus. Leipzig apparently holding out for 130. I imagine, according to Ben Jacobs anyway, that there's confidence that a deal gets done somewhere around the middle of that. So I'm sure we will see Jan Diamand, a Liverpool player next season, alongside Florian Wirtz. I'd love to see maybe Nico Schlotterbeck, or I'd love to see Brown. I'm a big fan of Nathaniel Brown at left back. City of Northfield, you got to consider getting the Discord back up. We can then keep the convo going on matches you aren't here for. Do you know what, mate? The thing is, I think the thing with the Discord is I'm happy to do it. It's just, it's so much to have. I don't want it to feel dead, and it felt dead. I'd love, and I tried to. You need like Discord prompts and things like that. I mean, again, it's probably something that coding and AI can do. Things like sharing the latest news. So, hook it up to Twitter, for example. Hook it up to the Paul Joyce feed. Hook it up to the Ben Jacobs feed. So that as soon as breaking news comes out, it's immediately shared in those groups on Discord. That's what I've been trying to build. But again, it's headspace. I'm trying to do it in the busiest time in terms of the World Cup, where I feel like all I'm doing is either thumbnails, scheduling, watching games, or sleeping. I've not really done an awful lot else. So it might be something that I have to look at after the World Cup. But yes, I mean, listen, the Discord server is there, but it's just keeping it busy. And there's not really an awful lot of people amongst it at the minute, sadly. 270k a week if Spurs get Champions League football. 80 mil is the price for Tonali. I'm not sure that's great money, mate. That's not the best money spent. City of Northville, most creators barely touch their own Discord. Just hand it off to others to run your mods. I know, but this is it. I guess maybe that's something I need to be better at. Is handing that stuff off. without feeling like I'm taking the mick out of people. Do you know what I mean? Germany, edge of the box, Havertz, strike over the bar. Finners Matty, who would you want to get for right back, Sarah? Well, we definitely need some more options there at full back, don't we? Bobby, what team do you support? I'm a Liverpool fan, Bobby. I think this is the first. Is this the first Germany game we've covered at the tournament? I think it is, isn't it? Cheers, Manga. Gravenberg was insane today. Also, Gakpo. Oh my God, he was fantastic, wasn't he? Gakpo was brilliant. Ryan says thoughts on Marco Palestra. Looks like he's going to Inter. No surprise, really, to see that. People do it for the love of the game. The Discord is more for the audience, but like a news channel, people then upload news too without you even needing to ask. It kind of runs itself. It does, and I'd love to just put it in the description, maybe with a link. Here you go. If you want to go and chat in there, you can do. I'd love that. I really would love that, and I can dip in and out of it as and when I'm able to, and I've got time to do so. It just felt like really admin intensive. Number one security, I've seen you going for 2-1. Well, I think for this one, yeah, both teams to score, Germany to win is what I would say. I think Germany will certainly... I can't see him losing. But I do think the Ivory Coast can trouble him. There's no doubt about that. They can certainly trouble him. Here's Wirtz. Somerville as well. Yeah, Somerville I'm almost certain will leave West Ham. I think we all talked about that in the last game as well. Predictions for the match key and predictions for the final. Predictions for this match, I would say... I mean, they're driving forward here. Ivory Coast, great run. Bonnie. Here's Diamand, exactly where they want him. One-on-one. Drives at the fullback. Good ball across. And Germany just scramble it away. This is it. This is where he can hurt him. And now Germany come away with it on the counter. Diamand looks injured, says Ben. You think? Why does he look injured? If Ivory Coast get a goal, they are beating my expectation. I mean, it's moments like that, isn't it? They're one-on-one with the fullback. You would absolutely expect Diamand to have a good old run today at... It's not Kimmich, is it? Is it Kimmich? Is it Kimmich on that right-hand side? I think it is, isn't it? Yeah, Kimmich he's up against. Yeah, he'll have a go at Kimmich today. That's probably why they've put Nemesha over there as well. Nemesha will double up on him. Jelly, I think 2-1 Germany. I think Ivory Coast are well drilled and Ahmad is a player to watch. Well, Ahmad came off the bench. He wasn't favoured really in the first game, but he came off the bench and made a difference, scored the winner. It was a really good finish actually from Ahmad. Here he is down the right-hand side. Good ball. Up against Brown, good ball in, and it's going to be a corner kick to the Ivory Coast. Is it a corner? No, it's a goal kick. It's a goal kick. Don't know if I got Germany first corner. I really hope I didn't. I really hope I didn't back Germany first corner. Don't think I did. No. I'm almost certain I didn't actually. Germany v Ivory Coast. Go on, what have I got? Germany or draw over 1.5. And Germany first team to score. That's dangerous, isn't it? What else have I got on Germany? Germany, most corners. Germany or draw, over 1.5. First team to score and most corners. There you go. He was hobbling. He's not walking right now. He seems to be moving I wouldn't go as far as moving gingerly. He's doing a little dad run there on the halfway line. Here's Florian Wirtz. Good defending from the Elephants. Manga says he's really good, man. This is his first tournament. So good, but I ain't going to lie. I could definitely see England winning the title. I mean, England, I'm not 100% sure on how far they get. Personally, I saw Jamie Carragher. I think he was at Royal Ascot. He had a full top hat and everything on. Jamie Carragher was asked how far he thinks England go, and this was after the Croatia game, and he had a similar view to me that he was sufficiently concerned by how England defended in that first half that he doesn't see him going the distance, and that's what I took from that game. It was a good second half performance from England. I think going forward there was a lot to like. 4 goals against Croatia is, admittedly, it's an aging Croatia side. They're maybe not what they once were, but 4 goals is still impressive, isn't it? But I was sufficiently concerned defensively to think if they were against a better side, if they were against a France or a Spain or a Germany, maybe a Portugal, I think any of those sides would. Look at the Netherlands today. Netherlands pasted Sweden every chance they got. And I think England will give up chances to better teams. You know, Japan beat England in a friendly that was like a real warm-up opportunity. And here's Bonnie up against Tar. Kimmich getting back. They're doubling up on him again. But good run this from Bonnie. Pulls back to Diamand. Good run. That's a brilliant piece of play. Bonnie puts it in the box. Ivory Coast in the area here. This is good. Netherlands looked a lot better than I anticipated, and I have a lot of respect for them. They could definitely be in the semis. That's true. Services Portugal looked rubbish in their last game. I know, but that's only one game, innit? I mean, we've seen Argentina go on and win the tournament after getting beat by Saudi Arabia in their first game. We saw that last time out. We saw Spain lose to Switzerland in 2010. They went on and won the tournament, and that's one of the greatest international teams. Some people talk about, obviously, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Ramos. They talk about that team being one of the greatest international teams ever. So that was a team that got beat in their opening game. And Portugal didn't even get beat. They just didn't. They flattered to deceive, let's say. Swifty, a back four can get better with games and playing together as you progress. That's true enough. It's also very true. I'm not completely writing England off. I guess I've got concerns that having watched France, having watched Germany, having watched the other teams at this tournament, I mean, France didn't cover themselves in glory defensively, did they either? They weren't fantastic at it. Oh, nice 3-star. Where did you do that 3-star? Where was that on? Finners Matty says Ronaldo needs to be dropped for Portugal, I think. And Ryan says, I think we need Gay back in. Swifty, I think England are better than Germany. You're thinking so? Okay. England better than Germany. I wouldn't fancy our chances against the Germans. They've got things we don't. Oh, it's a great ball. Here's Havertz. Wirtz couldn't quite get it to Wirtz, but he wins it back. Fabulous play this by Wirtz. Inside. Musiala. It's going to go back over to Wirtz, I think. Here's Kimmich. Freak. Oh, excellent ball in, and what a header, and an excellent save from Fofana. Havertz shot on target if people needed it. There you go. Ben says Portugal also play a false 9. They've got a lot of midfield talent. They've got listen, I still think Cristiano Ronaldo got a lot of abuse after that game for Congo. But, yeah, I have no problem with him playing him. Goncalo Ramos is a great striker, though, as well. I like him. Yeah, that's it. That's it. City of Northville. We haven't spent that much in a long time. We've spent about half what other top teams have around us. And not only that, like, the reason Liverpool haven't spent so much, you could argue, is, well, you know, they've got high wages. And we have had high wages in comparison to other teams in the league. We tend to pay a lot, you know, higher in wages and bonuses, but don't actually spend a huge amount on transfer fees. We've still spent over the last 6-7 years a lot less than Man United and Arsenal and the other top teams around us. So we've got a bit of money to play with, and we've also just let go. You think of, you know, Konate's off the books now, Salah's off the books now. Some big wages freed up for Liverpool. Big wages. Carl Key, this American's favourite Brit. Yes, Carl, good to see you, man. Can't think of many Germans that would get in the England team. Ooh, that's a bold shout. If we were doing an England v Germany combined 11, how many get in the team? I think I'd have Kimmich over Reece James. Oh, here we go. Good run down the right-hand side. Diamand. Stood up, far post. Germany, edge of the box. Strike. Good effort again. The Ivory Coast are not here to make up the numbers. City of Northville, buying cheap doesn't mean you avoid duds. It just means the risk is higher that they will be duds. It's true, yeah. United have had their fair share of duds that people thought might be good value. I mean, Xerxes probably goes for less than what you paid for him. Malacia left on a free. Spurs have a bid rejected for Tonali, says Andy. Liam, hi Key, had a really stressful day at work today. Had the day from hell. Oh, God. I mean, don't feel like you... I mean, elaborate if you'd like to, of course, but don't feel like you'd have to, mate. If you just want to enjoy the football and switch off, that's fine too. But if you want to talk, we'll listen. Paddy. Okay, cheers, 3-star. I'll have a look at it, mate. Kimmich, Tar, Wirtz. Does Wirtz get in the 10 over Jude Bellingham? It's questionable. I don't know. Wirtz or Bellingham. I think there's probably not an awful lot between them. I think, in fairness, Thomas Tuchel, if you offered him Bellingham or Wirtz, I think he'd probably take Wirtz. Not just because of the German factor. I mean, I think he wants a player that's a little bit more dynamic, let's say. Players who can drift into the channel. Bellingham's maybe a bit more physical than Wirtz, but I don't think that's what Tuchel wants. He wants someone who can drift into the wide areas. Diamand, this is a great run. Bit of a heavy touch, and it goes out for a goal kick. There's nobody in the German team that would be a significant improvement on our 11. Okay, that's a fair assessment. But I think that probably goes both ways, though, right? I don't think there's a significant improvement. Maybe Harry Kane, you could say. Once you say, other than Kane, I'm not sure there's a huge improvement in the German side if you were to take out, well, maybe Rice, actually, looking at Nemesha and Pavlovic. But I think Wirtz, Musiala. I think you'd probably have Brown over O'Reilly. You'd certainly have Kimmich over Reece James. I'll pass on talking my day, to be honest. Better to move on. That's it, mate. Yeah, listen, if you're in sales or customer facing, it can absolutely be a nightmare. Believe me, I've been there. I understand. I appreciate. So yeah, just turn the other cheek and acquiesce. Watch the footy. Do something that takes your mind off it. We go better. We go again tomorrow. There is no evidence United has that skill. We can say Brighton does because they've done it consistently. But United, one good window, and we would have effed that up with the lap if we had our way. That's also very true. Yeah. Jelly says Man United under Fergie have always been clever in the market and brought players worth their value. I mean, that's one. There's two things, mate. One, Man United under Fergie doesn't exist anymore. It's not the same people. So the entire setup is entirely different. It's just wearing the same badge. So the argument that Man United recruited well under Fergie I mean, I'm not entirely sure that's accurate, but even if we accept that it is accurate, I don't think it matters anyway in terms of where they are today, because United have, if you just look at the last 10 years, they've not recruited well, have they? Manchester United have spent over £1 billion. What have they won in the last 10 years to show for it? They've not spent well. I think you and I could agree on that. Even as a United fan, I'm sure you could agree on that. Mark says, hi Key, watching the match, but listening to you in Rill. Have you ever been to Rill? Of course I've been to Rill. Loved the Sun Centre. Yeah, I've had many trips to Rill, but not in many years. I think probably about 20 years since I was last in Rill. Watching from the wings, Aftab from last stream is still ahead on my Commenter of the Night awards. These are the same people who got like 8 transfer windows wrong before accidentally getting one right. Why would we give them the benefit of the doubt of suddenly being value sniffers? I was going to say, listen, if you're trying to find a player that can help you win a title, it's much easier to find that player if you're working with a budget of 100 million than it is if your budget for that player is 40, 50 million, isn't it? So if Man United are shopping in windows 50, 60, 70 million, like if they're trying to turn Ederson into an Elliot Anderson, they're a lot less likely to be successful, aren't they? Now that's not to say they won't be successful. Elliot Anderson might well be a dud when he goes to City, and Ederson might be wonderful for Man United. But history tends to suggest otherwise. Germany, edge of the box, great strike. Oh, just wide. Good effort from Musiala. Guilty Spark Key. Who would you say are the top 5 Swedish players to play in the Prem? Ever. Isak. I mean, Henrik Larsson was getting on, but he was wonderful. Same with Zlatan. I'd probably say both of those would feature in my top 5. Freddie Ljungberg as well. Kulusevski as well. Kulusevski, I really like Kulusevski. I think Bergvall might do in time to come as well. Olof Mellberg. Yeah, Olof Mellberg from Villa was very good. Jelly, Cunha, Sesko and BMO. I mean, again, it remains to be seen whether those are good value players. Like Cunha, yes, possibly. There was a lot. I don't know if any of those 3 have justified their fees yet. Have Cunha, Sesko, and Mbeumo justified their fees? Are they £200 million worth of talent? I'm not sure. After one season, you can't say anyone's a flop. That's true. Yeah, I think that's fair. Especially when they're young. Like, this is it. I think young players need time, and it sometimes takes them a year to grow into the Premier League. So, if you've got Sesko, you've got Voltemar. And I was very consistent with this throughout the season, if you remember. People was asking me to be critical of Sesko and Voltemar. And, oh yeah, he's a bit of a flop. He's not looking great. And I said, no. Give him time. Hey, that Ekatiki's really good, isn't it? Well, again, give it time. This might be his ceiling. It might it started well, but it might be that this is about as good as he gets. You never know. You got to give him time. Mandy asking price must be dropping by the minute here. Why? Why would it be dropping by the minute? He's playing Germany. He's had a couple of runs at the full-back and done okay. I was going to say, I don't think... It's mad that the expectation is, if you're a £100 million player, you dominate every minute of every game. You can easily say we overpaid for Sesko. No one minded it last season, but now suddenly we need to buy cheap like we're Brighton. Are we trying to win a title or trying to fight for Europe? Exactly. That's it. Strike. Oh, roof of the net. Good effort from Musiala. That's going to be a corner. Juan says, and Burmo can't be justified. Sorry, but no. The other two, sorry. I'm slightly feeling the same. Like I said, they're all talented players. I guess what I'm saying is doesn't Burmo, Cunha, Sesko as a front three win a title for United? And that is the yardstick, isn't it? That is the benchmark. If we're saying that the criteria for this is have they been a successful signing and Burmo, Sesko, Cunha, will they win a title for Man United, that attack? No, I don't think so. I don't think there's any world in which they will be world class. Is that going to count? Is it going to count? Foul. No, he's give a foul. Pavlovic claiming a foul. Kimmick's having a word with the referee here. I tell you what, I think the goalkeeper might be getting away with one here. The corner comes in. The keeper jumps. Oh, do you know what? No, I'm sorry, that's not a foul. That isn't a foul. I hope VAR does allow this one because he's done nothing wrong there. He's done absolutely nothing wrong there, Pavlovic. He's gone for the ball. The keeper's not been strong enough. We've got to allow this stuff. It can't be right that as soon as you touch the keeper, it's a foul. I'm sorry, that's crazy. There's nothing wrong with him there. Nothing wrong. Key, quick update. Feeling a tiny bit better. I've been on and off napping. Good stuff, mate. Yeah, just look after yourself. Let us know how you're feeling as and when you're able to. But yeah, don't worry about it. If you're in, you're in. If you're not, we can see you tomorrow. Just make sure you look after yourself. Keep yourself hydrated. Have some sleep. We'll be here when you get back. Yep, it's a foul. Almeria or Malaga. Who returns in La Liga today? Half time now, 0-0. Well, you know who I want, mate. Right up here. Malaga. Love Malaga. Been to La Rosaleda many times. Absolutely love it. Jelly, come on. We've got players who are class like Cunha and Mbeumo and Ahmad Dorgu, Bruno, plus 6 more, and we are laughing. Oh, is it only the 6 more that you need? That should be alright then. Adam says, Key, you know I had home and away German kits, 90 World Cup. Keeper's milking it a bit, just about. Nick says, do you think some teams are rigging matches in the World Cup, Key? No, I don't think so. Do you think so? I don't think so. We've gotten one, so we're set, exactly. And yeah, Ederson. Put it this way. Here's the real yardstick, the real test of this. Did you need to be an elite scout? Did you need to be an elite scout to look at Cunha and Mbeumo and think that they would be a decent signing for Man United? I think if Cunha and Mbeumo had gone to United and totally flopped, it would have been astonishing. They'd had years in the Premier League where they'd been relatively consistent performers for teams at the bottom end of the table, or certainly in the bottom half, right? Those were very, very safe signings. And Mbeumo and Cunha. They cost 140 million quid. They were a lot of money, but I think they've performed about as well as you would have expected them to. They've not exceeded that. They've not been brilliant. They've not flopped. They've done good. They've done good. They've done okay. Well, let's say 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 maybe. But not fantastic. Not like player of the season well. Not anything unbelievably well. Just like good. Happy. If you were a United fan, you'd be happy with that. But not like delighted. I don't think they go and absolutely smash it next year. Sesko is the one that was like okay, we've had a look at him from distance. Could he possibly help the team kick on? 70 million spent. Not sure. Not sure that was an excellent value for money signing. But again, time. You got to afford him time. Senna Lammens would be another one. Senna Lammens, I think, was a good value for money signing. But equally, remains to be seen whether or not he kicks on or not. He could just be a reliable keeper. Because I think with Senna Lammens, he was good, if not unspectacular. He was wonderful on corners and crosses and set pieces. He claimed everything. Very, very good in the air. But he didn't, and he saved most of the things you expect him to save. There was also quite a few goals actually last season where Lammens, he was a bit like, I'd want him to save that. I'd want him to save that. Lammens was the real genius signing. If he continues at that level, I think he needs to develop more, and the same would be said of Sesko. He ended the season beating everyone but Martinez on goal prevention, shot blocking in the same number of games. Yeah, but again, would you argue, see, did Martinez have a good season for Villa last year? It's always difficult to read based off stats alone. Fernandes walks into every Premier League team. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Luke says, just having a competent, steady keeper was a huge upgrade. He exceeded expectations, in my opinion. I would agree with that. He certainly exceeded expectations, and he is an upgrade on Onana, and for that reason alone, he looks night and day better, doesn't he? I think if you've had a really unreliable keeper for a couple of years, and then you get in one that just does the basics, that guy's going to look world class. I guess my argument is he's not quite world class. Yeah, he's not quite world class. Is he not world class? A kid matching that season one. Well, again, I mean, guess it depends on what your argument is and what definition of world class you have. I think there's 5 to 10 better goalkeepers worldwide than Senna Lammens. But if we're talking just like under 23 and under 25 goalkeepers, I think Senna Lammens is probably in the top 5. If you're talking young goalkeepers around the world, he's up there. If we're talking overall goalkeepers, and I think that's what Man United have to aspire to be. Man United, for me, growing up, is a team that competes for league titles, and they're about as far away from that as I've seen for some time. Even though they finished third last year, still think they've got a lot of work to do with the squad they have. And the manager they have. Again, it remains to be seen just how well Michael Carrick can do. Live Belize, go Ivory Coast. Samuel Eto'o in the stands watching the Ivory Coast. Clips Market, I wouldn't swap him for any keeper in the league considering his age. Yeah, but again, that's the caveat, isn't it? That's the caveat you're applying, considering his age. That's not how Man United operate. Man United don't sign a load of kids who are great for their age. That's the reframe. I think that's maybe what we're talking about here. You don't sign people and you don't sign kids saying, oh, they're wonderful for their age. That's not Man United's standard. Man United's standard is they are the best in class. What a ball! Big chance! Ahmad must be! It's 1-0 Ivory Coast! They've scored! It's 1-0! And I think it's Singo, is it, at the back stick, or is it Kessie? I think it's Frank Kessie. It's 1-0. It's absolutely disastrous defending from Germany, and Ivory Coast have absolutely shocked the World Cup here. It is Frank Kessie, back stick, 1-0. They're in front. 1-0. Great ball in from Diamand, and again it's Diamand who causes all of the panic in the box. Amad Diallo can't quite sort his feet out, and Kessie puts it in the bottom corner. It's 1-0. Making me eat my words like a late night snack. I tell you, they was always going to cause problems there. Always going to cause problems. City of Northville, what's funny is it was between buying Martinez and the kid, and they purposely picked the kid. But maybe that's what's guiding Man United decisions now, isn't it? That seems to be what's guiding the decisions, as you've, I think, quite rightfully complained about. I think we're on the same page, even as a Liverpool fan and a United fan. You're frustrated that they're taking this approach of value signings, which they have very little experience in picking up. They don't really do value for money signings, but they're going for it. And I'm looking at it and going, why have they gone and got Ederson? Why have they signed Ederson? There's loads of teams looked at Ederson over the last few years, and he's never, ever, ever been considered a serious prospect or a serious option for top sides looking to win and win immediately. He wasn't even considered for the World Cup squad until he got an injury. Brazil, how bad do you have to be as a CDM not to get into that Brazil centre midfield? I mean, that's mad saying it because it's Brazil, but Jesus Christ, if you ain't getting in that Brazil central midfield, there's not much down for you. I think the Brazil central midfield's got a combined age of about 104. The standards have dropped at United and so have the fan expectations, which is what is really maddening, says City of Northville. Yeah, that's my... I mean, it's not maddening for me as a Liverpool fan. I'm delighted. It's great. But I do look at it and think, that's not United behaviour. That's not United behaviour. That's not we win, we're going to win now. We are behaving as if we are big balls. Johnny Big Balls, basically. We're here. We're coming to win the league. That's United behaviour. That's what Man United do. And I've not seen that for a good long while. And the ones when they have done it, they've got wrong. Like Lukaku. Lukaku was big balls behaviour, wasn't it? Pogba, big balls behaviour. It's those ones they've invariably got wrong. Luke said, I'll be disappointed if there aren't 2 more senior mid signings. Definitely need more, for sure. City of Northville fans are sounding like Glazers now, like, oh, he's not worth more than 85. If they will go 80 and add-ons, maybe we can, if they'll take payments. Klarna. Man United on Klarna. They must have asked Cunha and Casemiro about him. And yeah, I know, but again, all they can really comment on is him as a person, I'm guessing. You'd probably want to get Casemiro and Cunha's advice on whether or not Ederson is a good personality fit at Man United. Is he, part of the... You don't want the no dickheads rule broken immediately. But, you'd be leaning heavily on your scouts and the data on whether or not he's good enough as a football player, because that's got to be far more important. Obviously, you don't want someone coming in who upsets the apple cart and is a bit of a nightmare to deal with in the dressing room. But if he's a good enough player, you can sort of accommodate that sort of thing. Yeah, Newcastle have officially rejected a bid for Sandro Tonali. It's breaking news on Sky Sports. Sandro Tonali, bid rejected. Mr. Al-Shamari, who's your favourite German player of all time? Favourite German player? It's a good question, that. Probably one that is again maybe a little bit under. I always liked Mario Gomez. Mario Gomez was such a wonderful player. I liked, there was a lot of great players for the Germans, but they were, I think Matthias Sammer was fantastic. Jurgen Kohler was brilliant. Can't really look past Lothar Matthäus as well. Lothar Matthäus was unbelievable. So yeah, Matthäus, Sammer, Kohler, Klinsmann, that era. I liked Ballack. Mario Gomez was fantastic. Hummels. Clip says Paddy paid that out as an Ahmad assist. Oh my God. An Ahmad assist? Can't get an Ahmad assist on that one. City of Northville says Rashford returning. sounding like Carrick has talked him into coming back. I don't think he's needed to talk him into coming back, has he? Marcus Rashford on 400 grand a week, the most expensive player in the Premier League. I don't think he needs much encouragement to come back and resume his contract. I think the encouragement for Marcus Rashford would have to be, hey, listen, Marcus, do you fancy going playing for Newcastle or playing for, a team that's maybe not flying in the Champions League and they're not going to pay you anywhere near 350 grand a week, 400 grand a week. You're going to be on a lot less money and you're going to be at a lot less prestigious club. But you will play regularly. I think he's calling Man United's bluff here, Rashford. I think Rashford goes back and he probably does play quite a bit more. It probably means United don't sign anyone in those wide areas. Haaland must be the highest paid. I mean, he might be off the books. Maybe off the books he is. City of Northfield. Oh, sorry, this charming Dan Key. Mario Gomez was a fantastic player. Doesn't get enough credit for how good he was. Agreed. Yes. One day or less talking of Newcastle. I think Asula will be a great player in years to come. Yeah, he is. Again, a talented player. Very young. Needs time. Remember watching him in the under-21 championships for Denmark last year. And he was a talented player then as well. City of Northfield, Rashford was supposed to be supposedly willing to take a cut to not come back. Now suddenly he's saying, I'd rather stay than go anywhere else in the Prem. That's fair enough. And I think is that not because he's looking at it and going, I can stay here for another 2 years on 350, 400 grand a week, and then I can maybe decide, at that point, I can leave on a free, and I'm still young enough that I can probably go and get a decent deal elsewhere. Craig says, not the greatest game in the world, this. Well, it's not, but it's a shock, isn't it? It's 1-0 Ivory Coast. And do you know what? And they're pushing forward. They're in again here. It's 3-on-3. They've got a great chance here, Ivory Coast, if they win this. Here's Diamand, plays it out wide to Bonnie. Strike, great effort. Good save, Manuel Neuer. I tell you what. Bastian Schweinsteiger was a class act. We got him in the Premier League past his best. Yeah, didn't quite see the best of Schweinsteiger in the Prem. In 2 years, he won't get any top clubs. Do you think, how old will he be in 2 years? Oh, that's got to be a free kick. No, not having it. Germany, not really getting it all their own way here. Ivory Coast are ruffling some feathers in the middle of the park and they're playing very physically. I did worry about Fofana. Oh, is he giving it? Wirtz. Must be. There you go. Is that going to stand? No. Another goal chalked off. Kai Havertz is screaming, saying, what's going on? Should have been 1-0. Oh, sorry, should have been 1-1. Was that a foul? Yeah, of course it was. Clear foul, that. Clear foul. Good to see you, John. How's it going? I don't think he does, no. I think Nagelsmann's decided to work over the summer. Steezy, do you think Diamand is worth 100 million or more? Well, he's worth it if someone's willing to pay it. I think people have to get their heads around the idea, and I say people, I mean me included. I think football fans, we have to get our head around the idea that transfer fees shift, and what we once thought was like an unbelievable, like, wow, that's a really, really expensive deal. Actually, like, I think the going rate now for a top quality midfielder or attacker is going to be north of 100 million quid. That doesn't put them in the top bracket of... I think that's what's going to happen. I think more and more you're seeing players either leave on a free in their peak, that's becoming increasingly common, or if they are moving on transfer fees, you're looking at 100 million plus every time. Elliot Anderson, Declan Rice, Enzo Fernandez, Felipe Caicedo. Jan Diamant probably will be. Alexander Isak. These are not... 100 million is increasingly becoming a very common number. I don't think it's not indicative of a player who's like unbelievably... Oh, Amad Diallo loses the ball too easy there. City of Northville, it was 100 million for Rice years ago, so why wouldn't it be 110 plus now? It'd probably be 150. Probably 150, wouldn't it? Edge of the box, Vert's got to hit it! Deflection and a corner for Germany. Steezy, I remember the days when Pogba's 86 million transfer was insane. I mean, Pogba, 86 million, with, I mean, it was about 40, 50 million in agent fees as well, wasn't it? So... it was probably 100 million plus for the whole package on that one. Anthony was nearly 100 million. Like there's loads of deals that eclipse 100 million in terms of overall value or get close to that level. City of Northville, they'll be able to resell Anderson after 6 good years for the same they paid or more. Yeah, there's no sign of the market deflating, is there? Germany with the corner. Far post, big chance. Ivory Coast clear it away, headed back in. And they scramble it away. It's going to be a throw-in on the far side. How much was Maguire again? 70. I think he was 80, wasn't he? Because Van Dijk was 75. And Maguire just eclipsed him. So I think he was 80. Yeah, Maguire was just a bit more expensive than Van Dijk. Not quite as good, but you know, just a bit more expensive. Good defending from Ivory Coast again. Wonderless, I hope this season Ahmad has a good one. I think he needs to get games, doesn't he? I think that's the big... It's a big season for Amad Diallo at Man United because he's not done enough to cement that right wing spot as his own, has he? And he's not done enough at international level either because they've been starting other players over him at international level. He's not been convincing in training. He's not been convincing when he's played. So, Amad Diallo, talented boy though he is, I think it's a really big season for him at United because if he doesn't get it right this season, there's probably a good chance that he gets moved on or decides he wants to move on because he's got to oust Brian and Burmo on that right-hand side. And Burmo and Amad are a very good, good options there on the right-hand side for Man United, but neither of them will be quite happy sat on the bench, will they? They'll both expect to be starting games. If Ahmad's not starting games, he'll want to move. He ain't gonna be sat there happily going, oh yeah, I'll just keep taking the money, and he'll want to move. He'll want to go and kick on and become the player that he can be. You only do that by starting games. Clips, he's just signed a new contract. I mean, that's irrelevant. That's totally irrelevant. Matheus Cunha's just signed a new contract and moved to Man United within 4 months. Means absolutely nothing. Means zero. New contract ain't worth the paper it's written on, mate. Pele says, can he only play on the right? Ahmad. I don't know if he can only play on the right. I'm sure you could put him on the left. I mean, he spent a big chunk of the season last year playing at right wing back under Amorim, didn't he? And he did all right in that position. I think if Amorim had stayed, he might have... Because I think he continued... He was thriving in that position, I thought. He did all right. He's defensively quite switched on. And Burmo was maybe played a touch more central. Ahmad can play as a 10. Again, he can, but is it his position? And given you've got Bruno Fernandes in that position, how often is he likely to play there? I think if he can play right wing and he can play in the 10, he's far more likely to get games off the right than he is in the 10 for Man United next season. Ahmad thrived as a wing back under Amorim. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought as well, mate. I really thought he was doing well in that position. I personally am of the opinion I think Ahmad moves on. I think he'll, not this season, I think he'll stick it out at United. He'll have another middling type season where he maybe comes off the bench and contributes here and there, but I think he'll grow increasingly frustrated that he's not getting opportunities and there'll be no shortage of clubs. This charming Dan who's in the chat, he's a big Sunderland fan. He's had Amad Diallo at Sunderland previously. I think there's other clubs who'd certainly take a punt on Diallo. Again, how much money would you get for Amad Diallo? United paid close to 40 million quid for him. I don't know if you'd get that sort of money back for him. Clip says Amad ain't leaving. 80 million quid. Go on, give me your justification for Amad 80 million quid. That's astonishing. Give me a comparable player who went for 80 million quid. It's Luke, you'd defo get the money back. 40 maybe. 40 maybe. I mean, he's by the end of this season, Amad Diallo will be 25. By the end of this season. So if we're saying he's going next season, next summer, he'll be 25. He got 5 goals and assists. 5 in 32 appearances for Man United last year. It's not... In the nicest possible way, that ain't 80 million quid. That isn't 80 million quid. Clip says, what's the justification for Wirtz? 130. Why? Who's paying 130 for Wirtz? This charming Dan Key, you're not wrong. If they aren't going to play Amad, we'll gladly take him off their hands. That's it. Yeah, Julius says Amad 45 to 50. Finners Matty says Amad 35. I think you'd probably be looking around about the 40, thereabouts. Clips 130 was he was British transfer record. No, that's incorrect. That's incorrect. And again, he would also be value for money because he was 21, Amad, so he'd been 4 years younger than Amad. Sorry, Wirtz was 4 years younger than Amad, based off what we've just been talking about. Penalty, is it? No. His output last year was poor, but he well underperformed his X whatever metric you want. If he moves towards the mean, his output will be higher. Again, very, very fair. He had a decent season the year before that, didn't he? I guess the question mark is he going to get the opportunities to start and justify his price? I'm not sure he is. Jelly, if Hall is worth 70. Well, no one said that Hall is worth 70. He's also a completely different player in a different position. I don't think you can use Hall to justify a price for Amad. I don't think any football club would. No football club in a discussion about Amad would say, well, look at Lewis Hall. They'd just go, yeah, he's a different player. Left back. Doesn't play in the same position. Clip says Wirtz has 5 goals and 3 assists. Wirtz isn't going anywhere this summer, though, is he? So that wouldn't come into play. How many assists and goals did Wirtz have before we signed him? You asked what the justification was. The justification was that Florian Wirtz was 21 and got 24 goals and assists in 31 games. That's the justification for 100 million. And it was 100 million pounds for a 21-year-old Florian Wirtz. And he got 24 goals and assists in 31 games. That's better than Amad. And that's why there's the difference. So there you go. That's a very clear, very, very clear numbers. Calling it a night, Key. My eyes starting to droop. I need my kip. See you tomorrow, everyone. Take it easy, mate. Have a good one. Cheers for coming in, 3-star. Clip says Amad is 23. Yeah, but he's not going this summer, is he? He'd be going next season, which is 25. He'd be 25. Next season, at the end, we said in the conversation, I don't know if you were here when we said it, we said in the conversation, Amad's not going to go this summer, but if he does go, it would be next summer, and he'd be 25. That would put him 4 years older than Florian Wirtz was when he went to Liverpool. And when Florian Wirtz went to Liverpool, he was doing massively more numbers and was 4 years younger than Amad. That's why the fee would be much, much higher. That's to explain when you asked what's the justification for the fee. Kimmich. Not great for the Germans here. They've not really had too much in the way of clear chances. A couple of chances off set pieces. Ivory Coast maybe the masters of their own downfall. Get Voldemort on. Clip says Wirtz got off with 1 this year. I think the difference is, mate, again, Wirtz was a kid. Wirtz was 21 playing in the Premier League. Pogba was not 21 playing in the Premier League. City of Northville, I'd take Wirtz over Baleba or whatever leftover crap we end up with on the cheap. Good ball in, good touch, great ball from Wirtz. Unlucky, poor touch. Here's Diamand. Ball out to the left-hand side, unlucky. Sané wins it back, Kimmich plays it forward. Wirtz is there again. Linking up nicely. Havertz. There's only 30 seconds or so left for the Germans. They've got to do something quick if they want to do something before half-time. Good run. Really good run. Excellent play. Wirtz. Oh, lucky. Good effort. Just couldn't quite get it out of his feet. That was better. Pogba had everything to be world class apart from the attitude, says Swifty, and Craig says Wirtz came into Liverpool in the wrong season. Maybe a new manager will help. To be honest, if you look at Wirtz's actual chance creation numbers, they're actually very good. He created a lot of big chances for Liverpool. I think there was only Enzo Fernandez and Bruno Fernandes who created more chances than Florian Wirtz last season. So if we're talking about, and he's a young lad. He's not, Bruno Fernandes coming to the end of his career. Enzo Fernandez, 20, is he 25? Something like that, Enzo Fernandez. He's a lot older anyway than Wirtz. Certainly in his peak. Wirtz still kind of a lot to learn in his first season in the Prem. I think that to put him in that bracket with Bruno and Enzo Fernandez is pretty good. And if we'd have had Isak or another competent centre-forward up there for most of the season, he would have had a lot more assists. So people point to assists and say he didn't get that many assists. I think that's not reflective of Wirtz not creating chances. It's reflective of Liverpool not having a clinical centre-forward. Kai, I think 2-2 for this one. What's your prediction? And Pyrie says, was Jari Litmanen class? Jari Litmanen was incredible. One of my favourite ever free signings for Liverpool. Shahid, no half-time quiz, mate. I've got no half-time quiz for you. I've got none prepared today. If Sesko gets another season, how can we not give it to Wirtz? Because he's a United fan and we can't take his opinion seriously in the nicest possible way. I think to be fair, Jelly would admit that he's a hardcore Man United fan, and where Liverpool are concerned, he cannot be objective. He cannot be objective or in any way balanced. There is no balance to Jelly's views. Everything that's Liverpool related is awful. Everything that's Man United related is wonderful. There is no balance to be found in his views there. So I think it's a waste of time talking about Liverpool and Man United with Jelly. I think he would acknowledge that himself, to be fair. Good to see you, Dan. How's it going, lads? Swifty, I'm not sure what Wirtz is yet. I think he's certainly best played through the middle. I think he will suit Iraola's system maybe more than Slot's system, but I think it's more to do with the players. We didn't have a finisher last year. Yeah, we didn't have a finisher last year. Evening, Dan. How's it going? We'll deviate back to the game, Rupert, when it livens up. To be fair, it's not been a brilliant first half. As soon as Ivory Coast scored, Germany have dominated possession, but there's not really been any clear chances. I'm sure in the second half we'll see a whole lot more from the Germans. The Germans. Will says, just watch the highlights of the Netherlands game. Didn't look like a 5-1 game. I don't think it was. The Culture says, can't believe we're going to get 170 million for Gordon and Tonali after last season. I guess it depends on, do you back Eddie Howe and Newcastle and the team in general? Do you back Newcastle's recruitment team to go and get the best with that 170 million quid? If Newcastle sell Anthony Gordon, which they have, and they sell Tonali for maybe, let's say they get the best part of 170 million for those two, can Newcastle go and get 3 or 4 players with that help them push on and kick on, and will they be better next season as a result? They spent some big money last year, Newcastle. Anthony Elanga, again, a relatively young player, so you've got to give him a bit of patience, but he's not exactly new to the Premier League. Anthony Elanga was a disastrous signing. Johan Visser was an absolutely disastrous signing. I think Voltemada with time will prove to be a good signing. But again, they ended up playing him more as a centre mid and a number 10 than a centre forward. So again, it's how he's going to be used. Take it easy, I don't even know, mate. Have a good one. Hope you're feeling better. I think Howe's days are numbered, but who can they get who's better? Who could they get who's better? That's a good question. Who could Newcastle get who's better? Who would be the alternative? If they were getting rid of Eddie Howe, who would be next in line? Probably Glasner maybe would be an option. I mean, apparently Oliver Glasner's on the cusp of joining Man United if Michael Carrick doesn't work out. There was talks of that. Stuttgart manager, Klopp. Klopp, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Sebastian Hoeneß, the Stuttgart manager, possibly. Possibly. Is that not a little bit like that? He's the shiny new thing. Like, because he's had a couple of good seasons in Germany playing decent football, let's go and get him. I feel like it's a big risk, Sebastian Hoeneß. But then again, teams are taking that risk, aren't they? Pierre Sage has just gone to Crystal Palace after, one really good year at Racing Club Lens. That he's got the Palace job off the back of that. Russell Martin's just joined. Who's Russell Martin gone to? Leicester, sorry. I feel like managers like Xavi are out of their reach. Glasner isn't better than Howe. Glasner isn't better than Eddie Howe. Really? An FA Cup and a European trophy and a Charity Shield and dragging Crystal Palace into... I don't know. I really would say I think Crystal Palace have spent a lot less. I think if you're looking at a manager getting the best out of what he's got and exceeding the sum of their parts, I definitely think Oliver Glasner's had less to work with and gotten more out of it than Newcastle's Eddie Howe. I don't like Glasner's attitude. And then that's totally fine. That's perfectly reasonable to say. Do you think maybe did he have a valid reason for kicking off with Crystal Palace? I know he did also kick off with Eintracht Frankfurt as well, but I would say his frustrations were valid with Crystal Palace. I think other managers would have kicked off with Steve Parish as well. He was getting all his best players sold from underneath him, and he was asking to give me money, give me something so that I can keep growing this team and keep kicking on. And it became quite evident that Palace had no appetite to do that. They had to sell. They wanted to sell. And I think that's what upset Glasner, wasn't it? City of Northville, if Carrick fails, I want them to go and get Emery. If that fails, Pochettino. Pochettino to United's one I would love to see. Like, And I'm saying that taking my Liverpool hat off. I genuinely think if I was a United fan, if I did want United's best interest at heart, I think Pochettino comes back to the Prem at some point. And I think he's so much better than that Chelsea stint. And I think we're seeing that with the US team. He's a very, very good manager, Pochettino. And I think at United he would get an awful lot right. Let's say that. He'd be a better option than Carrick anyway. Dirty Lead says, evening mate, this will be a great result if Ivory Coast can pull this off. They've started well, haven't they? Love how adaptable Pochettino is, says City of Northville. After the stiff formations we've had lately, that would be refreshing. That's one of the things that a lot of people have commented on with the US, not just in the World Cup, but since Pochettino's been there, is you have no idea what formation or lineup he's going to go with from one game to the next. It's not stagnant. He's constantly changing. Sometimes they have 5 at the back. Sometimes they go with a 4-3-3. Sometimes they go with a simple 4-4-2. And it's just constantly evolving. And that flexibility, that dynamism, I think would suit United and the Premier League today. This charming Dan says Glasner would be better for Newcastle, but they seem unwilling to get shot of Howe, even though he always does badly when they have the Champions League. And Rachel says with Newcastle, they need a clear out of the backroom staff. Culture says, do you think Slot would come to Newcastle? Not sure where he would be looking now. Do I think Slot would go to Newcastle? Yes, I think he would. And I think he's got a lot to prove in the Prem. I think with Slot, I mean, look at Ruben Amorim, right? Ruben Amorim went to United, didn't do incredibly well, but I think he was doing well enough that he should have kept his job. And he's immediately walked into the AC Milan job. Arne Slot completely punched above his weight and won the Premier League in his first season. Wherever Arne Slot goes to next, I personally think he's waiting for the Barca job. I think when Hansi Flick leaves Barcelona, Arne Slot will go there. He's made for Barca. Barcelona tend to like their Dutch managers. They've always had a bit of a love affair with the Dutch. And the Dutch style of play is very much, I mean, Johan Cruyff, obviously. There's a huge whatever it's called, connection there, let's say that. So I would say Arne Slot is made for Barcelona. He'll go to a top job for sure. He'll definitely go to a top job. He's done well enough throughout his career so far to walk into a top job. Pochettino to Newcastle. Respectfully, I don't think Newcastle are big enough for Pochettino. I think whoever gets the Newcastle job after Eddie Howe, it will be someone who's maybe a bit more up and coming. City of Northville, I'll be watching how he does for sure, just like Amorim at Milan. Both very good managers. I think if he hadn't managed Man United, I would have quite happily had Ruben Amorim at Liverpool. Obviously, once he's managed United, that's completely off the table. I always imagined Jose at Newcastle with his connection to Bobby Robson, but now he's back at Madrid, not happening. Game could still happen. I mean, how long is a managerial reign at any club these days? Jose Mourinho probably will be out of a job at Real Madrid inside 18 months to 2 years. The barrier for success, the yardstick again for success at Real Madrid is winning the league title. If he finishes second to Barcelona and they don't win the Champions League, he's sacked. That's what happens at Real Madrid. If you don't win the league, if you don't finish above Barcelona or win the Champions League, you're done. You're out. I can't think of a manager. When's the last manager that did that? The last manager at Real Madrid that didn't win the league or win the Champions League and kept their job. Like, that's got to be an extenuating circumstance. The vast majority of the time when they don't win the league and they don't win the Champions League, they immediately get moved on. It happens all the time. So do you think Real Madrid win the league this year? Maybe, possibly. They've made some good signings. Do you think Real Madrid win the Champions League this year? Again, could happen. But if they don't, I'm telling you, Mourinho's out of a job. So the question goes again is, will Eddie Howe still be in a job at the end of next season? And if he's not, Mourinho's available again. City of Northville says, just looking at the data, Ruben before he came here was a known winner. Before he came, long-time losers. Man United were long-time losers, so which is more likely to have been the issue? Exactly. And to be honest as well, it's not just managers. Managers go to Man United having been successful before and then leave and are successful afterwards. The same could be said of a load of players. How many players have gone to United, suffered, left and thrived? Loads of them. Absolutely loads. Rasmus Højlund, Scott McTominay, Anthony. There's loads of them. There's absolutely loads of them. So I think if you were on the balance of probability, which is the problem? Is it the club, is it the environment, or is it the manager? I think it's fair to say it's probably the club and the environment. And that's, to be fair, that's the side of the argument I came down on with Liverpool and Arne Slot as well. I don't think it was Arne Slot's fault last year. It was Liverpool. It was the club. The players. The team. The squad. He needed help. He didn't get it. Craig says, what are we rating this World Cup so far? I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I've quite enjoyed it. Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. Service says, Key, you won't have Alonso because he plays 3 at the back. Amorim plays the same way, but you would have had him. It's not just because of that, though, with Alonso. The Alonso 3 at the back thing, I don't think that was the issue. It was an issue. It was one issue of many. The reason I didn't want Xabi Alonso at Liverpool was about threefold, if not fourfold. I didn't think he was good enough as a manager. I also didn't particularly think he was right for us in terms of, like... I think Ruben Amorim, if you look at Ruben Amorim and how he dealt with the media, he was a lot more savvy than Xabi Alonso was. Xabi Alonso, as well, Xabi Alonso turned Liverpool down 3 times and wanted to leave while he was at the club and you know, pissed around, put in a transfer request so he could go to Arsenal, refused to play games because he didn't want to get cup tied. You know, I was a wonderful player, but, you know, a bit of a bell whiff. I don't want him managing Liverpool. Certainly not going to go... I'd much rather Amorim than Xabi Alonso managing us, yeah, for sure. If he hadn't been Man United manager. But now that he has, I'd rather neither. Jan says, thoughts about Norway in the World Cup. How far could they reach? How far could they reach? I don't think they go that far. Probably knockouts, early knockouts at a push. Round of 16, possibly. Liquid Laser, if you're firing a coach 9 years out of 10, why not just have a coach? Seems to represent an extension of their egos instead of respecting the sport. Again, I think that's fair, yeah. And we'll see more of that. That is what we're seeing across football, isn't it? Teams going with coaches rather than managers. And that's also why Xabi Alonso didn't come to Liverpool, is because he wants control over hiring. Now, personally, I would rather the manager get full control over hiring, because I think you're setting them up to fail almost. But I get the argument. If you're going to sack managers every 18 months, probably better off not giving them that control. Maybe that's a reflection of the environment almost, and clubs understanding that fans just have no patience anymore. Johan Cruyff was the Dutch legend, manager of Barcelona. Absolutely. City of Northville says, let's say Carrick doesn't work out and ends up fired by Christmas. Would you be willing to come here and say the problem is us, like Ronaldo long told us? Or will you be here saying whoever is next is going to win us the league immediately and saying Carrick was trash? I'm fairly confident, yeah. Listen, we can revisit this. We can revisit this during the season. I'm sure Michael Carrick loses his job at some point in the next 12 months. I hope... Listen, I'm not wishing failure on the guy. Well, no, I am, let's be honest. But in the nicest possible way, I'm sure, like all managers, he'll get moved on inside 12 to 18 months. When that happens, I think we can revisit this conversation, and I'm sure Jelly's insights will be interesting. Do you reckon we'll see Zidane anywhere other than Madrid? Well, here's the question. Do you think Zinedine Zidane improves his reputation by going somewhere else? He's won however many European Cups at Real Madrid. Won loads of stuff, like managed a wonderful team there. Does he go somewhere else and suddenly... I personally think Zinedine Zidane's looking at it and going, if I retire tomorrow, I'm already seen as one of the best managers ever. And he didn't manage for a long, long time. But a lot of managers do that. A lot of managers only have short spells and win lots of things and then don't manage again. Not everyone's like Roy Hodgson. Far post, good claim from Fofana. Zizi is a shoo-in for the France job. McKenna to Everton. You think Kieran McKenna to Everton? Apparently he's going to take a bit of time out of the game. City of North Hill, I don't get optimism after failure this long. It's like Lucy holding the football and still running to kick it for the 11th time. Ronaldinho out of retirement. Yeah, I saw that. He's playing for a Serie C club now, isn't he? I think that's probably just a bit of... He'll just come on for like 5-10 minutes at the end of a game. He's not gonna... You're not going to see him start games of football. Or if he is, he'll probably be taken off at half-time at a push. He's 46. The guy was struggling when he was 33. 46, I think there's... I'm not sure Ronaldinho can get up and down a pitch. City of North Hill are happily with a huge smile come and tell you I was wrong. I want to be wrong. That's it, yeah. That's kind of the same with me and Iriola. I really hope I am wrong. And if I'm wrong, I am wrong. And Liverpool have won something. Liverpool have had a fantastic season. But you can only give your view, can't you? You don't. I think blind faith and blind optimism's not as helpful. Not helpful either. Got to try and use what information you have to guide your view and balance it appropriately. Great ball. Ahmad in the area. Ivory Coast. Straight at the keeper. Robert says, look at Miura, 59 and still playing. But he's not. He's not still playing, is he? He's not still playing. He's not doing 90 minutes. And he's playing in like the Japanese 12th division. Germany 0, Ivory Coast 1, 51 minutes on the clock. Thank you very much, Pete. Welcome to all Taverners, new and old. Please do give us a follow, hit like and subscribe live every single day through the tournament. Ivory Coast here with Ahmad in the area. Ball pulled back, strike. Over the bar. Unlucky. Again, should do better there. Really should do better. It was Inau Ulai who initially drove forward. Probably should get that on target, to be honest. He's having a really, really good start to his career in Turkey. He's only 20 years of age. Again, he's probably a midfielder that'll be catching the eye at the tournament. He did well against Ecuador, held his own in that one, I think, off the bench. And started today. He's done really well up against the German midfield. Winning the ball back, driving Ivory Coast forward in transition. Here's Wirtz. Lovely pass. Unlucky, cleared away, that's better. Germany getting battered here, says Prince Rupert. City of North Hill says, agreed, at some point positive becomes delusion after too many years of evidence to the contrary. At some point you have to switch to cautiously optimistic at least. Jelly says, negative views are worse than optimistic views. I think that they're both as bad as each other. Do you not think they're both as bad as each other? If someone is persistently optimistic in spite of evidence to the contrary, that is just as, one, infuriating and easily dismissed as someone who is incredibly negative while in the face of, you know, positive evidence and all that stuff. I'm generally a glass half full type of guy anyway, but I think you've got to look at everything and balance it. Will says, what do you think of the change that now means Haiti and Turkey are out, even if they win the third game? I guess it's fine, to be honest. I think that's right. It means the head-to-heads actually mean something now. I prefer goal difference as first decider. I mean, to be honest, there's been certainly times... Ooh, claim it's going to be a corner, that one, I think. It's going to be a corner. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there's the whole head-to-head thing. Senegal went out, if you remember, on goal difference. Oh, it wasn't on goal difference, was it? It was on yellow cards. Do you remember that? Senegal went out in the 2018 World Cup based on yellow cards. They finished level on points with, was it Japan or South Korea? I can't remember if it was Japan or South Korea. I think it was Japan. They went out level on points, level on goal difference, and yellow cards was all that separated them, so they went out that way. So I think head-to-heads first is probably the best way. People were posting the Beavis and Butthead gravestone saying, "Here lies Turkey, he never scored." Faris says, which three players that are not in the World Cup deserve to be there? For me, number one, Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen, I mean, none of them really, I guess. None of them deserve to be there if they're not there. Ultimately, their countries let them down. Or they let their countries down, I guess. There's a lot of players, by the way, who aren't there, who just got injured. I mean, Kulusevski here would have been here with Sweden. He's not in the squad. There's a lot of players who haven't made the squad who you would have thought maybe should have been or would have been. Estevao, Rodrigo, Militao for Brazil. João Pedro did really well for Chelsea last season. Left out of the Brazil squad. Billy Gilmour had a really wonderful year with Napoli. And then he did his knee a couple of weeks before the end of the season. Billy Gilmour would have been at Scotland's first World Cup in 28 years. How important would that have been? Germany with a strike from distance, miles over the bar. Yeah, Cole Palmer's another one. There's a lot of players that you look at and think probably should have been there. Julio Enciso for Paraguay, injured in the build-up. But yeah, I think Dejan Kulusevski for me is one of the best players in the Premier League when he's fit and very creative. Sweden could have done with him today. Japan. Listen, Japan as well. How many players are missing from Japan? We talked about Japan and them being a dark horse. They've got the captain, Wataru Endo, out injured. Kaoru Mitoma of Brighton, superstar winger, out injured. Takumi Minamino, former Liverpool player, doing well at Monaco. Minamino, Mitoma, Endo. All three of those would have been fantastic for Japan. None of them playing. None of them able to play. So there's a lot of talented players who never quite made the tournament. Could say no Luis Suarez as well, to be fair. Uruguay leaving out Luis Suarez. Only one cap short of the World Cup record for Uruguay. Luis Suarez culled from the squad by Marcelo Bielsa. Probably not that surprising, given the intensity that Bielsa demands from his players. Camavinga for France as well. Camavinga was a shock omission, wasn't he? No Camavinga for France. I was surprised by that. Obviously, he started quite a lot of games for Real Madrid and left out in the end. Ball whipped in for Germany. Good claim that from the keeper. Easy from Fofana and gets it out quickly as well. Can't quite find Ahmad. And out it goes. And then, yeah, even if we just look at England, no Foden, no Palmer, no Maguire, no Trent Alexander-Arnold. How many players there, would you say, deserve a World Cup? There's a lot of them, isn't there? City of Northville says, there hasn't been a single word about Palmer getting any surgery of any kind. He's been on vacation at some resort, hanging out. Yeah, I saw that. Didn't he post there was a picture of him on a Jet2 flight or something like that? This charming Dan says, I may be biased, but I think Mukiele should have gone instead of Gusto for France. Even Chelsea fans were saying Gusto's been crap last season. Nordi had a superb season, both at right back and centre back. Guess the benefit there for you guys, mate, is that he's fit for next season. He's fresh. Joe, hi Kate, been back. Oh, sorry, I'm back, being a bit busy. Have my final exam on Monday. Good luck with it, mate. Nail that, and then we'll see you for the summer, hopefully. But, yeah, good luck with it, mate. Make sure you sort your exams out first. We'll always be here. You can pop back in and see us whenever you get the chance, but always good to have you in, buddy. Faris says, I'm Arsenal, but Saka shouldn't be there. I mean, Saka towards the end of the season for Arsenal started picking up, didn't he? 3 subs for Germany. Yep, Germans bringing on the changes. Needed to happen. We've got a water break coming up in a minute, so they need to do something quickly before it starts to upset the rhythm. Who were the changes for Germany? Sorry, I didn't catch them. I saw the 3 that went off. I didn't see who came on. Pavlovic. Schlotterbeck went off for Rudiger, by the way. We saw that at half-time. But it was Pavlovic, Musiala and Sané that went off. UNDAV comes on. Jamie Llewellyn of Stuttgart and Nadiem Amiri, the experienced Mainz, number 10, comes on. So a couple of creative players there. Amiri for Pavlovic, UNDAV for Musiala. That's a centre forward for the 10. A 10 for the number 6. And Jamie Llewellyn for Sané, which is basically like for like. So Germany certainly going a bit more stronger. They've gone with 2 up front. You can see that now. Havertz and UNDAV. They've gone 4-4-2. Wirtz dropping over to wide left. And Jamie Llewellyn in more of a natural, orthodox right-winger position. Expect more of the play to go down that right-hand side, I would imagine now. You're going to get the ball going to Llewellyn more often than not. Connor says, anyone else pissed off Germany doing constant short corners? Again, they don't tend to have too much joy off set pieces, do they, the Germans? It's this sort of stuff. They're great at playing through the lines. Cross in, Far post, Havertz. Another corner. Germans winning the corners. Leon says Wirtz is not affecting that much. I mean, to be honest, Wirtz has created the best chances for Germany. There was a goal ruled out. 2 goals ruled out in the first half, both of which he created. Although I don't think he did create the corner, did he? I don't think he took the corner. It was Kimmich, wasn't it? He certainly created the second one anyway that Havertz put in. And there was a couple of half chances that he created as well. But Germany as a whole team, forget just Wirtz, as a whole team, they've not really done an awful lot. Big chance back stick that. The keeper comes out, flaps at it. Havertz heads it wide. Joe says, I've also seen the Tonali news. Them bidding 85 million is a travesty. Why is it a travesty? I mean, I know it's been rejected, but I don't think Tonali's worth what Elliot Anderson is. Personally, I think if Elliot Anderson's 120, I think maybe you do look closer to 100 million for Tonali. Bogdy says thoughts on Germany. It's been a real poor performance from the Germans, hasn't it? Not vintage. Nathaniel Brown does well. Wirtz inside. Tackles all over the place here. Got to be a couple of yellows coming their way. The ref's got to get control of this game. Here's Wirtz. Inside. Good football. Kimmich. Here's UNDAV, loses the ball, too easy, straight through to the keeper. This charming Dan says, Key, I'm thrilled some of our players haven't gone. I'd be happy for all our World Cup players to go out at the group stage if it means they stay fit and get more of a rest. That's it. I think a big pre-season is going to be necessary for Sunderland in particular, given you've got Europe. City of Northville, that scares me. If we aren't getting Tonali or Elliot Anderson, who the hell is making up our midfield? It can't be Agate for another year. It just can't. Agate and Ederson. Agate and Ederson in midfield next year for United with Mainu. Good play over to the left-hand side. Tar. Ivory Coast defending really well. There's not an awful lot of space. They've got everybody back. Last 25 minutes here. Apparently Spurs are planning to get Gakpo. We're then getting Diamanda and Barcola. Sounds exciting. I wouldn't want Barcola over Cody Gakpo. Genuinely, I wouldn't. Cody Gakpo is better than Barcola. Cody Gakpo is better than Barcola. Again, it sounds... The whole sounds exciting thing is only because it's shiny new. And if you get past that, if you acknowledge that in our heads as football fans, all we are constantly after is that dopamine hit of a new signing. Give us someone new and young so that if we get a young player who comes in, they're going to be world class. And we get this endless cycle of, he's going to be world class. He's not really that good. And then you sell him on. But the next guy, he's going to be world class. It's honestly, it's a travesty. Cody Gakpo is a very, very good, reliable Premier League winger. Very, very reliable. We saw that today. Frank Kesey's having words here. Fofana, the Ivory Coast goalkeeper, getting a bit of a pounding. It's Luke says, not a chance, would take Barcola over Gakpo without a second thought. Based on what? Cody Gakpo's won a league title with Liverpool in the hardest league in the world. He started... listen, every time he plays at a major tournament for the Netherlands, it's not just this tournament, by the way. Cody Gakpo's been astonishing for the Netherlands every time he's played for them. He does it for Liverpool in the big games. He turns up in the big games. He scored winners for us against Man United. He scored winners for us against Madrid, Man City. Cody Gakpo is a very, very solid, reliable player who's got Premier League experience. How much would you have to pay to get Cody Gakpo out of Liverpool? Maybe 60, 70 million. You'd probably have to pay 100, maybe 90 to 100 to get Barcola out of PSG. And I'll be honest, his numbers for PSG aren't overwhelming. In a league like that, playing for PSG, his numbers aren't that overwhelming. Great ball. Verts! There it is! There it is! It's Dennis UNDAV with the touch, the final touch. It's 1-1. Excellent ball in, and it's 1-1. Excellent stuff. The Germans are level. You love to see it. It's an absolutely sensational ball in, and breaking through into the 6-yard box is Dennis UNDAV. Thomas Muller's loving it. As is Mats Hummels. They're watching from the stands. Excellent play from the Germans. What a cross that is, by the way. Oh, that's amazing. It's a lovely ball in, and it's a fabulous finish. It's 1-1. There you go. We are so back. We are so back. Scenes of hysteria. Should give them some confidence now. This charming dancer Zagate must be Spanish for cart horse. How Man U paid actual money for him is baffling. He's not worth Monopoly money. Apparently Barcola has a £60 million price tag. Again, he's alright. Barcola for me is an Arsenal type signing. And I imagine that's the sort of signing they make. It's not one I would want at Liverpool. I don't think he's a Liverpool player. Ooh, that was better. Unlucky. Fabulous cross, yeah. Bruno-like cross, says City of Northville. It was a brilliant cross, wasn't it? If I'm on the Arsenal board now, I'd go all out for Marcus Rashford. I mean, we've said that all summer, haven't we? It feels like every time we've spoke about Rashford on the channel, Arsenal's such a good fit for him. But 40 million quid, 350k a week. Not sure he represents great value for them either. And yeah, I don't know if Arsenal have even got that much money to play with, to be honest. They forgot the hydration break. I'm sure they've not forgot it. There'll definitely be advertisers keeping an eye out for that. Does he work hard enough for Arteta? Who, Rashford or Barcola? I don't think either of them do, to be honest. That's why I don't think either of them go. I don't think either of them go. I was going to say, I think if you've... Same with United. I just think United, maybe you're looking at... One of the reasons Man United are probably looking and spending their money, let's call it wisely. They're not going for players like Elliot Anderson and Sandro Tonali. They're going for Ederson. I think Arsenal are probably shopping in that type of market as well. So there's only so long you can keep spending so much money without it starting to affect whether or not you're able to, what you're able to do in the transfer market. Here's Jan Diamand, excellent play, skips past Kimmich, and Tar needs to come over and get shut. Quiet Wyatt, why would Anderson go to United? I'm not saying he would go to United. I'm saying there's obviously been lots of rumours and talk linking him to Man United. And perhaps the reason Man United haven't bid for Elliot Anderson is because they're not shopping in that bracket. Here we go. Powerade. Sponsors of the hydration break. Jelly says Ederson is the first signing, wait for the others. Okay, well hang on. Let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this, Jelly. Right? Let me ask you this. If Ederson, and maybe I'm wrong, but you're saying Ederson's the first signing, wait for the others. If Ederson is your starting CDM next year, if he is the Casemiro replacement, if you've foregone Tonali, you've foregone Elliot Anderson, and Ederson's not just the backup. Ederson is the starter. If it is Ederson, right? If it is Ederson, will you agree that that is a very underwhelming signing? Because you're saying it's only Ederson, but actually there's going to be more coming. And maybe it's Ederson plus Elliot Anderson. Maybe it's Ederson plus Camavinga or another, top sitting midfielder. But if it is just Ederson, can we agree now that that's a very underwhelming, not very Man United type of approach to the transfer market? There you go. Okay, so you're saying Ederson's just a squad player. Okay, fine. So if it transpires that he's not just a squad player, then you'll be disappointed, yes? Fabulous. There you go. We've agreed some stuff. If it's just him, it's a disaster. Okay, fair enough. There you go. That's what I'm saying. I guess if it's Ederson, Agate, Mainu, Fernandes, and that's what you go into next season with, you'll be disappointed, yes? Great. Perfect. I'm glad we agree. Quiet Wyatt says United can't attract those players anymore. Well, I think Jelly will have something to say about that. Don't forget they've got Mason Mount stinking up the wage bill too. Again, it's entirely fair point. Luke says Ederson ain't a CDM. He's very much box to box. It'll be Fernandes and maybe one more. Hang on a minute. So you think you're going to sign Ederson, Mateus Fernandes, and another? You think you're getting 3 centre mids? Ederson, Mateus Fernandes, and one more. Good grief. Prince Rupert, let's play a game. Let's not talk about Man United anymore tonight. What are we saying? Sorry, Mank will. Ederson will be Agate's replacement as he'll be sold. United are in for Mateus Fernandes to replace Casemiro. Prince, bless you. Bless you indeed. Bonnie, Diallo and Sangare off. Gesand has come on alongside Adingra and Fofana. Fofana's always good for a foul. Gesand and Adingra, 2 Premier League wide players. Very underwhelming, I would say. It's Luke says, I reckon 3 centre mids, third, 1 maybe more budget. Berger, Hackney or Belabor on a structured deal. Maybe on a budget and then you include Belabor in that. Christ, they were asking for 100 million last summer. I don't think that will have flexed an awful much. I think maybe you're looking at maybe 70 to 80 million at a push for Belabor, but they're not going to have dropped the price that much in one summer. Could be worse, could be dominated by Arsenal fans. I mean, to be honest, it's certainly not. It's going to be the summer, right? So we're all talking about different teams and what they sign and who they could sign. And obviously the talk for this game has been, to some extent, Liverpool related, with whether or not Wirtz has been value for money, whether or not Jan Diamand will prove to be value for money. And that's natural given the game we're watching. Should United be looking at free agent proven Prem players like a Bissouma? That'd be smart. Bissouma. I'm not sure Bissouma's a smart signing. He didn't really pull up any trees at Spurs, did he? This is why they do the transfer streams. You can yap about it for hours. I've always tried to veer away from them, though. I really don't want to get into the habit of doing that. I'd much rather us watch games of football and chat about whatever we want to chat about and it not be a specific thing. And if it deviates away from a specific club or a specific type of transfer, then it's fine. We can talk about whatever. If people want to talk about anything in particular, I'll put it up. Put a question up. If you're not happy with this topic, I'm delighted to talk about anything else. I'll steer the conversation whatever way you want, as long as it's relatively loosely football related. Put a question in the chat. I'll put it up right here. I'll put it up as the main subject of the stream. Wasn't there rumours of Tchouaméni? Tchouaméni's one late. Christian, honestly, I think if you're going to pay big money for a centre mid, Tchouaméni's not a bad one. This charming Dan Agate will only be sold if another team can come with the 40 quid to pry him away from United. And they'll want change. Was it Wirtz with the assist, Pete? I don't know who it was with the assist. Might have been Kimmich. But then you get complaints, why aren't we talking about the game? Well, that's also true. You're not going to please everyone. Certainly not. You're never going to please everyone. Here's Jan Diamand on the right-hand side now. Switched over to the right-hand side. Shahid says from next week the World Cup starts properly with the final group matches. Don't say properly like we're wasting time on these games. Do we think Germany can turn this around? That big 12 minutes this. The Germans already beat Curaçao. This is probably, I mean, you'd say it's the hardest game in the group. Ecuador getting beat by Ivory Coast. But Ecuador are no mugs either. They're not going to be an easy game for the Germans. Ivory Coast will look at this as a huge win because they've got Curaçao next week, haven't they? So if they play Curaçao and get a win, as you imagine they would, Ivory Coast might top the group. It was Emerse with the assist. There you go. So two subs combining. Fair play to Nagelsmann. Two subs combined. Emerse came on, crossed it in, and it was UNDAV with the finish. Good stuff. Still not got a yellow card in this game. This is better. Unlucky. Here's Wirtz. Wins it well. Gives it off. Excellent play. It's good football. Kai Havertz. And Singo charges back and does well. It's Luke says, Nagelsmann has put on a bit of timber. Body's missing the day-to-day coaching, it seems. So few of the expectations have held up. There is a surprise every few games. And number one security says Germany have a massive goal difference though. But again, that only matters if they finish. Because here's the thing. Let's say Ecuador beat. If Ecuador beat Curaçao and then beat Germany next week, which infinitely possible, isn't it, given how Ivory Coast have performed against Germany today, Ecuador could beat the Germans. Some would argue that Ecuador were the better side against Ivory Coast the other day. If Ivory Coast beat Curaçao, they'll finish on 7 points. Ecuador probably beat Curaçao tonight, and then they play Germany next week in the final game. There's a real possibility that Germany could finish third in the group. Still be enough. They'd still be on 4 points and they'd still qualify, but they'd be a dangerous side for someone else. Ecuador, Germany will be a draw at worst for Germany, you'd think. I mean, you would have said that today, and you know, you could argue that Ivory Coast have been, I think, the better side. They're on the counter-attack again here. They're not oh, what a run that is. That's brilliant. Diamand over on the far side. This is a big opportunity for the Ivory Coast to go and win it. Diamand plays it back, and it's Wirtz who wins it. Two Liverpool teammates there. Wirtz with the foul on him, and I think it is going to be a free kick, Ivory Coast. The German squad isn't that good if you look at it, though. Every time, honestly, the German squad, for me, is a little bit like the Spain squad in 2010. Like, a lot of very, very functional players. Like, none of them are absolutely, wow, unbelievable. The Germans, like Kroos was a wonderful player, but I never thought he was like an all-timer. They're just very efficient and functional. A good team, a really good team. Is that where Germany is in our mind now, where they need to get by with goal difference? I mean, it might be, yeah. It's a very talented bunch. Some people who said it ain't talented don't watch the Bundesliga. I mean, there's some young talent in there. I mean, I think, obviously, we've seen Emerse come on and he's getting on a bit now, isn't he, Emerse? And we've seen Emerse come on and do well, create the equaliser. There's quality there with UNDAV and Llewellyn. Why is he crying? There's an Ivory Coast player having a whinge, having a cry on the bench here. Kroos was an all-time for me, part of one of the best ever mids with Modric and Casemiro. Germany can't quite get the ball away here, struggling. And now on the counter-attack, Ivory Coast again, foot in, good stuff. Pidge says your analysis was spot on, mate. These English teams seems to buy a lot of the German players. That's it. Yeah, no, but again, I think that's because in the Premier League, functional works, and you know, German players are very good system players a lot of the time. You know, you can rely on them to work hard, to do a job, to defend well. They're never going to let you down in that sense. They're also very physical a lot of the time, without being incredibly gifted and talented in terms of maybe, like how many, for example, think about it like this. There's not many German players can do what Jan Diamand can do. There's been very few German players over the years can do what Jan Diamand can do in terms of getting at the fullback, driving at the fullback. Jan Diamand substituted. Carl, well, okay, maybe Lennart Carl will. I think, Wirtz can beat a man, and he glides about the pitch, and he's certainly talented, but he's similarly talented in the way a lot of his teammates are. Kai Havertz, I think Kai Havertz is a very intelligent footballer. Kai Havertz is getting subbed off. Christ, every time I'm talking about players here. He's done his hamstring. Oh, hey, that's not too bad. Hamstring's probably only a few weeks. That's okay. That won't scupper the move. It won't scupper the move, but it might mean that he doesn't get knackered. He'd probably be off putting his feet up. Leroy Sané. Was Leroy Sané ever as good as... Well, Leroy Sané was very good. He was very good. But I think if Jan Diamand only ever becomes as good as Leroy Sané, he's not £100 million. Devastating for Singo. Why? What's happened? What's happened with Singo? For those who are interested, we're not going to make this a politics stream, but Keir Starmer's officially set to resign as Prime Minister on Monday, apparently. Are the Dutch the biggest nation ever to never win the World Cup? Well, yeah, you'd say 3 finals, having never won it, I would say so. That's wonderful play, that, from Ulai, is it, in midfield? Unbelievable stuff. Well done. Prince Rupert, Nicolas Pepe. Remember, Arsenal paid 70 million for him. Money well spent. Singo's the one injured, not Diamand. Ah. Kieran says, Portugal, surely a bigger nation than the Dutch to not win it. I think if you was to make an all-time Portugal side and an all-time Dutch side, I think the Dutch side would be better, would it not? Especially when it's three finals. SLK family was wondering when you'd bring up Arsenal. I didn't bring Arsenal up, mate. It was a comment. I just read a comment out. I don't think you know. You're not quite aware of how these lives work, are you, mate? He's a couple of brain cells short of an allotment, this fella. Are you live for the Ecuador game? I don't think so, no. I've not got it scheduled. I'm going to see how I... Probably not, no. Not going to do Ecuador, Curaçao. Somehow that SLK family has nearly 300k followers. Key, there's hope for you yet. Hey mate, listen, he's just consistent. Ivory Coast, big chance. Oh, good defending again. Robert says, why is Voltamada keep getting benched? I feel bad for the young fella. I mean, Havertz, I think Havertz is better than Voltamada. I think if you was going to pick one or the other, you'd certainly pick Havertz. And UNDAV's coming off the bench and scoring. Just consistent. We actually make decent content. I'm not saying you don't make decent content, mate. Like I said, consistency. Consistency wins. But again, I don't think you quite understand how these things work. Respectfully, good luck with your stuff, mate. No ill will, but yeah, I don't think you quite get how this stuff works. Should have shot first touch there. Ryan Bridgman, where did you see the Starmer news? It's just popped up, mate. It's on Rosie Duffield MP has reposted it. I don't follow Rosie Duffield, but I can see she's reposted it. Politics UK. Don't know what that is. I mean, there's a fair few people talking about it. Apparently, he's going to announce it on Monday. This charming Dan says Adingra needed to take that chance first time. Taking the touch allowed the defender to get back at him. Ivory Coast now driving forward again. They've got plenty of touch. Oh, too many touches. Too many touches. That's Andy Burnham PM then. Honestly, I've zero interest in it. I just thought I'd mention it while we're on air because it's just been tweeted and it's allegedly happening. Prince Rupert, UK change prime ministers like Chelsea change managers. Not even that regular rather. Hopefully the UK can get a Prime Minister who cares about its citizens. To be honest, mate, I don't think, even if they do care, I don't think they can do an awful lot. I think a lot of people tend to think that the Prime Minister has a lot more power than they actually do. I don't believe they have that much power. Here's Wirtz, great ball. Germany down the right-hand side. UNDAV, chance for Germany to win it. Oh, have you not passed that off? Oh, you've got to pass that off. He's got to pass that off. That's a massive opportunity missed. It's a huge opportunity missed. Oh. I've been so event poisoned that it would take something massive to get me wide-eyed. It feels like we go through event after event for the last decade. That's it. Yeah, mate, I'm the same. Just totally apathetic when it comes to politics. I'm just like, yeah, all right, fine. Yeah, wake me up when there's someone making a difference. I think it's just a lot of identity politics at the minute, to be honest. Play into the crowd. Kimmich, come on. Germany, ball whipped in, too easy, straight through to Fofana. It's Luke says stick to football, not the Neville show. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it was a silly idea, wasn't it, to bring up Keir Starmer. Now we're talking politics. Last thing we need. I am Cruz. You should run for PM Key. Get another channel. Premier League Prime Minister. You're joking. I think it's as much symptomatic of how I feel about the position that I think you could put anyone with a good heart and good intentions into that position, and I still think they'd fail massively. Reece says great news, but expecting Burnham to improve the country's like we used to win the London Marathon. It's just moving deck chairs around on a sinking ship. My goodness me. Yeah. Don't disagree with that, by the way, Reese. I'm just saying. I don't want to. I've made it into a political end to the show. I've really tried to keep it football related. Carla says, Mark Hughes' son's died, age 38. So heartbreaking. Oh, that's sad. I've not seen anything in the news about it, but that's very sad. That's no age. 38 years of age is sad, very sad. Three minutes to go to full time. Can we get a winner in this one? Can we get a late winner? Find somewhere else for the politics, dinglings. Exactly, yes. Yeah, stick to footy, exactly. Not interested in politics, couldn't care less. That's my fault. Blame me. I stupidly mentioned the Starmer news and whether or not it might not even be true. Terrible again. I tell you what, they're giving some balls away here, aren't they? Giving some balls away. Locke says, is everyone aware that the US is going to win the World Cup? Go on the US, why not? I'd love that. Will, I'm renaming you Key Starmer. Sir, at least give me the title. Oh, that must be a winner. It is. It's there. Is it on? Oh, Dennis UNDAV's saying no to the line-oh, but I think Germany have won it late on. It's there. It's 2-1. They've pinched it. Germans win it late on. Ho-ho! I tell you what, the Ivory Coast have been hard done by here because I don't think for 1 second they've deserved it, the Germans. But I tell you what, it's a lovely little pass through. UNDAV with the spin and he immediately smashes it past Fofana. That's the kind of clinical finish you've needed. They've needed all game, UNDAV. Yeah, he's quite emotional, he's quite teary, you can see that. It's been a long old journey to the top for Dennis UNDAV. From Brighton to Stuttgart, now to the World Cup. Who plays this pass in and is he onside? He's here, he's onside, there's no doubt about that. It's a great touch and a great finish, it's there. Absolutely fantastic, we've got the goal. We've got the match winner that maybe the game hasn't deserved. I think a draw probably would have been the fair result, but we finally got a match winner. Dennis UNDAV. It's justified. There you go. Killed the game. This charming Dan says, I just said if Germany sneak this, it's Ivory Coast's fault. They should have taken one of their other chances, especially the Adingra one. They've had lots and lots of other chances, haven't they, Ivory Coast? They've just not killed it off. And as we've said, how many times have we said that this tournament? Go and kill the game off. If you don't kill it off, if you don't take your chances, you open the door at the other end. We saw that with Netherlands against Japan. Netherlands were comfortably in front in that game, and they allow the Japanese to sneak it late on. Ivory Coast certainly deserved the point, says Scuba. I mean, there's still 30 seconds left, and maybe the ref adds on another couple of minutes because of the celebration. So maybe there's still time. The Elephants will have to go very direct, but maybe there is time for a late equaliser. Sting in the tail, who knows? It's Luke says it's an outstanding pass, lethal touch, and a finish too. Great finish. 1-0's always dangerous. UNDAV does really well there, and he's won the throw-in, I think. No, he's not. Ivory Coast with the throw. SLK, who's your pick for the World Cup winners? Oh, why do you want to talk to me now? Now you want to talk to me and be nice? Why do you want to be... Why? I thought we was going to be mates, me and you. You come in and you're being a bit nasty, and then now you want to be nice and you want to have a conversation. I mean, I'm happy to have a... Listen, I forgive very easily, SLK family. I forgive very easily. Mr. Al-Shamari, try to do the Ecuador or Japan game, Kate. It's Saturday, no work tomorrow. Japan's 5 a.m, mate. Tunisia, 5 a.m. I can't swing that. I'll be divorced. The wife will take the ring off me. Don't forgive. Let's have some TikTok beef. Key Thomas taking SLK family on. I've no beef with SLK family. Forgive very easily at the right price. Still, I need to start in midfield next game. I was going to say, we've not really seen too much of Angelo still, then, have we? Dennis UNDAV's very pleased. 2 goals late on. That's a huge win for the Germans, isn't it? Absolutely massive win for the Germans there. And have to wonder now whether or not is that the sort of result that helps them kick on, that helps them maybe go and push on and try and be the team that can win the tournament. Could they be, maybe not outsiders, but nobody really tipped the Germans, did they? Nobody said that Germany would be a potential World Cup winner. When everyone was talking about potential World Cup winners, you can never rule the Germans out, but every time I was asking people, it was always Portugal, it was France, it was England, it was Spain. It wasn't Germany. It wasn't the Netherlands who, get a big win today as well. And these are the 2 outsiders I was talking about. The Netherlands 20-1. Big outsiders. This charming Dan, I can forgive, but I can't forget. As Mark Lamar once said. Or forgive. Still, it is a myth he'd get exposed in the Premier League. No way he displaces Nemecha or Pavlovic. Never ruled the man shaft out of any tournament. Exactly. Silly, wouldn't it? Very silly. Okay. Right, listen. Lots of love, everyone. Really appreciate you all. Thank you so much for everyone in the chat. Even SLK family, who's had a little pop at me. But I don't mind you, mate. We're all good friends. It's all good stuff. Pidge, who says, still it is a myth. Luke, Luke's an incredibly intelligent guy, knows his football. And I value his opinion. I may disagree with him on Stiller being a myth, but he knows his onions, that fella. Right, folks, lots of love. Enjoy your Saturday night, whatever you're doing. I hope you enjoy. I am going to be watching the Ecuador Curaçao game, but I'm probably not going to stream it. I'm definitely not going to do the Tunisia-Japan one. I'll be asleep at 5 a.m. But I am back tomorrow for 2 more games, 2 big watch-alongs tomorrow. Spain against Saudi Arabia and Belgium against Iran. Can the Belgians bounce back after the disappointing result against Egypt? I thought the Belgians were poor against Egypt. Probably didn't deserve to get a result in that one. And they've got to now go and get a result against Iran. It's an ageing Belgium side, so I'm intrigued to see how they get on. And Spain after the Cape Verde disappointment, can Spain go and get a result against the Saudis? Because they leave the hardest game to last, don't they? They play Uruguay in the final group game. If they draw again tomorrow, listen, let's be honest, chances are, even if they draw all 3 games, Spain, they're probably still going through, based on being one of the best third-place sides. But it's a big game for Spain. I'll be intrigued to see how they approach it. As one of the tournament favourites, if not the tournament favourite, can they get their World Cup back on track with a win against the Saudis? Or will the Saudis do what they did to Argentina just a few years ago in the last World Cup and get a shock win? Lots of love, everyone. Enjoy your Saturday. Make sure you've liked on your way out. Make sure you've subscribed. Make sure you've followed if you're on TikTok. Go and head over to the Matchday Tavern on YouTube. Key Thomas. I'll see you all tomorrow. Take it easy. Have a nice night.